Hello, this is Solomon, and this might be a serious to me since I'm running out of RUSE content and I don't really feel like playing RUSE that much anymore. But I'm gonna make a tier list of RUSE tank destroyers, and I might do more of these, and I might do a massive tier list for every single unit in the game. But first, we're gonna start with tank destroyers. First, let me get a drink of water. Okay, so tank destroyers in RUSE. They come out of AT base, although in this situation, I'm also including the Italian Breda. Since it's not an anti-aircraft unit, it comes out of Proto base. I mean, it's a tank destroyer, essentially. And that's how it's used. But tank destroyers and RUSE are not good units, because they're too one-dimensional. All they do is counter enemy armor, and almost all of them are just really slow. They're not mobile, and they don't have a turret, which is really, really bad since it means they can't attack on the move, which means they can't conduct a fighting retreat. So if they just get slot. Like if they go to engagement, they have to commit. If you try to retreat them, you're just gonna lose so many tanks since you can't fight back. You can't do any damage while you're retreating. There's also the fact that there's no attack move in RUSE, so it's a lot harder. It's just awkward to micro tank destroyers a lot of the time. And there's also the fact that they don't really mix well with armor either. You only do it if you have to, if you're playing the UK. So yeah, a lot of them just aren't good. A couple of them do get used. Why isn't this colored? What the fuck? Let me see if I can fix that. There we go. Okay, yeah, there we go. So let's start with the Archer. Okay, the Archer falls in this class of tank destroyers that don't have 500-meter range. So they're useless. Now that's a slight bit of exaggeration, but since again the meta in RUSE is 500-meter range tanks, super heavies, Persians, King Tigers, super Persians, and it has to have 500-meter range. And say it's slotted everything that doesn't have 100-meter range. So only use the tank destroyers that have less range when enemies using medium tanks. So basically the early game, and you only ever make a couple of them. Since once you start making those, enemies is going to switch to 500-meter range tanks. So let's start with the Archer. We're going to put it in D tier since it's garbage. Now the thing is about the category of tank destroyers that aren't 500-meter range. You only make 1 to 3 of them to stop an enemy or stop an enemy tank rush or something, or a couple medium tanks at the beginning of the game. And so it's a very time sensitive thing since we're doing it early on. It's not. I mean, the window there for that sort of combat is just very thin since both players are going to tech up right away to 500-meter range very soon since it's easy to do in RUSE. And the Archer needs to be researched. So if you're facing tanks as UK, you're just gonna make base AT guns. You're never gonna make archers. Since you have to tech them, that's the biggest issue. What if the enemy starts making artillery to counter your AT guns? Then, yeah, maybe the archer, but might as well just get fireflies if you can, or just go air or something and strafe to artillery. I don't you just don't build the archers. Okay, Bretta, this is gonna go in the A tier. Okay, in Italy it's A tier. It's one of Italy's best units, but compared to everything, it's B tier. So it comes out of the prototype base, and here's the thing about it: only costs 25. So that's a really, really good price for its firepower, since it has the equivalent firepower to the Flak 88 and the AA90 that Germany and Italy get respectively. But instead, it doesn't cost 40; it costs 25, which is almost half as much. Plus, while it can't fire on the move, it does have a turret, which is nice, and it doesn't have to rotate the whole vehicle, so it gives it that it aims faster. And now it doesn't have any armor, but again, I've said this a lot before. In Italy late game, you need artillery superiority to keep the Breda alive. If the enemy has artillery, the Bredas are gonna die to lose the game. You need to have artillery superiority since Kirill P26 about themselves just can't do it. No, we're on Italy. That's actually where's the okay. We're gonna put the Simo Vente at. I'm gonna put it at C tier. It pretty much never gets used. it's not as worthless as the Archer since it's 20 supply, not super slow, and it has decent firepower, and it only costs 25 to upgrade. The main thing hurting it is that the prototype, I mean the AT base for Italy is costs $40, and all you get is a base AT gun, the A90, and the Simo Vente that you have to research. Like base AT gun, again, you're never gonna make that as Italy unless you're trying to stop some sort of tank rush. Then your A9 is just per utter garbage. Then the Simo Vente, like the thing is Italy, you always just want to rush your prototype base. So one AT base is 40. Your first Simo Vente is 25 to tech and 20 to build. That's 85. Like just spend 120 and get the prototype base so you can get the M15 AA, Carol P26, and Bretta. So I might as well just get the prototype base. The only time you might consider making Simo Ventes is just you had to build an AT base to stop a tank rush or something. Then you might think about it, but still just try to go for the proto if you can. And it's only level 1 armor, so it's gonna die late game to artillery. Okay, let's move on to Japan. Okay, this is either B or C tier. Oh yeah, well, first of all, this is a lot better than the Simo Vente. But fuck. I'm trying to think. Maybe I should put the Simo Vente in D tier actually and put the Archer in F tier. Oh, my mouse is fucking up. Okay, I'm thinking. See, the Haru is better. I want to put it as better than the Simo Vente since you use the Haru more often. Since the Haru is really good at fighting off medium tanks, since it only costs 10 supply, and unlike pretty much every other tank destroyer, it has 43 speed, so it's actually really, really mobile. And you get a lot of firepower for the cost, so it's good at fighting mediums. And it can catch up the Panzer IVs somewhat. It can kind of catch up the Panzer IVs and whatnot, which outrange them. So I'm just thinking about where I want to put it. The thing is unlike Italy, as Japan, you actually do build the AT base. Since you use tank destroyers as your main force, you don't have like you don't have a proper heavy tank. Yeah, I'm gonna put that C tier actually. You use it more than the Simo Vente, but I'm gonna put them Simo Vente C minus, Horu C plus. Hori is gonna go to go ahead and say A tier. Okay, well, first of all, there's no units here are gonna be S tier, right? Since tank destroyers have such big weaknesses. So okay, I'm just gonna put the Hori as S tier because it's level 5 armor with the Super Pershing gun, King Tiger gun, and it only costs 35. So it's just really, really solid firepower. And yeah, it's a lot of firepower for the cost. And it works decently well. Since Japan gets so much destructive artillery firepower in the form of the Hato, and they're super heavy. You don't really have to worry about light units like disrupting your formation or even killing your tank destroyers. Let's go to Russia next. SU-85 is D tier. Now the SU-85 is really interesting. It has level 3 armor and a 400-meter gun, and it only costs 15 supply. But it you have to tech it. So again, like this doesn't really fall into the medium tank window. You're just gonna end up making base AT guns because you're trying to stop a medium tank rush. Again, so while like in a vacuum, it has really, really solid stats. Like in a vacuum fight between a tank and the SU-85, like a medium tank and SU, there's really solid stats, but you need to tech it and it's slow as hell. So like you're just gonna get the SU-100. Like it's gonna base AT gun against medium tanks, and then he's gonna go get 500-meter range tanks, and you're gonna get SU-100. So or something like that. Or SU-100, we can also put an A tier since it's level 4 armor with the same gun as Hori with 25. So again, it's really it's just really solid firepower for its cost. It's one of the best in the game. Now it's still, you only use it as a Soviets because the IS-2 is like garbage because it's a 450-meter range gun, and IS-3s they're difficult, especially as a Soviet since their prototype base costs 140. So it just takes more resources and time to get the IS-3 up and running. But you do want to use IS-3s instead of SU-100s for your force once you can. Okay. Also, SU-100 IS-2 combo is not better than IS-3. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Let's go to the Firefly. We're gonna put it. Okay, we're gonna put it at B tier. Like it's a unit that the British needs, but still not that good. Since again, Britain also doesn't have a proper heavy tank like Japan or Italy. So it's level 3 armor for 25. So it's one less armor level than the Soviets for the same cost. But you do get a turret in exchange for that, although it also is 100 tech cost instead of a 75 tech cost like the S85. So it's a decentish unit. Especially like the turret really helps a lot. But again, it can't shoot infantry. So like again, you need to throw Cromwells or assault guns into your force. So that's again, Britain just has a really awkward late game ground. Jackson, I'm gonna put this in F tier. Maybe I don't even think I should be giving these. I'm gonna move these units to F tier. Like just don't use them. Jackson, I mean it's level 2 armor, so it gets panicked in one shot from like tigers and shit. So it's like actually worthless. Like this gets super Persians. The Wolverine you actually use sometimes. Because unlike these 3 units, the Wolverine doesn't have a tech cost, so occasionally it'll show up. Like if you're fighting France, so it's soft, like let's say it's like a B1 BIS and Soma 35 or something against a base AT gun. Then they make Saw 40, so you make a Wolverine or two, since the enemy has the Salkins now, something like that. Or again, you're just fighting medium tanks and you throw like 1 or 2 of them out there along with base AT guns. And that's pretty much the only time you ever use Wolverine. I mean, you use it more like I never use any of these units, especially Jackson. Like deserves another F tier. Never make the Jackson. You pretty much almost, yeah, you pretty much never make the Archer. Maybe once in a, maybe once out of every 1,000 matches making that 85. Martyr and Jayhawk Panther. Now these are interesting units because the Martyr especially, it's 15 supply with level 1 armor, so it's pretty spammable. It's not super slow like some of these other units, but I mean the thing is Germany, you're like early games you're doing some sort of medium tank rush, just make Panzer IVs and Panthers, and after that you make Tigers and King Tigers. Like there's never really a reason to bring out the Martyr. Like I'm trying to think of when you would use it. Since again, you need to research it, so you can't really, even though it's Germany, like it still takes too much time to research. If you're getting like medium tank rush, you're just gonna spam out the pack 36. So I'm gonna put this in. Now I don't think this unit is awful as these other tank destroyers, but like, you just never use it as Germany. Like you just never need to use it. Yog Panther. So let me clarify. Like I'm looking at both the stats of the units, but I'm also mainly looking at how often you use it. Like in the like each of these tank destroyers is in the context of the nation. Like the SU-100 will be a lot different in like the Italy or something. So like Germany never uses these vehicles. So well, Yog Panther is the same as SU-100 except it costs 30 instead of 25, and that's actually a really big difference. So Yog Panther is garbage. Martyr, it has decent, really decent combat stats for its price, but you just never need to use it. There's never going to be a reason. Okay, so the Laughley. This is going in A tier. Laughley is one of the best tank destroyers in the game. It's an early and mid game unit. The thing is, the French AT base only costs 30 supply, which is the cheapest in the game. It's still tied with Britain for the cheapest in the game. And there's no research cost. And it's a 500-meter range unit with a Persian gun on it. Since it doesn't have the same firepower as these two, they all kill level 4 armor in 4 hits, but the SU-100 and the Hori kill level 5 armor in 7 hits, while the Laffley's gonna take 9 hits to kill level 5 armor. But it's an early game unit, and it only costs 10 supply, it's decently mobile, and the AT base is super cheap, so it can spam them out really, really easily, and you'll just slaughter enemy medium and light armor. Then even once the enemy gets tigers and Persians, you can make 4 Laffleys for every one of them. So let's say the enemy gets tigers, and you might already have 6 Laffleys, so you're just gonna one-shot the tiger once you get your Laffley group in range. Now, of course, once artillery starts coming out, and once enemy of 500 meter range armor starts to get masked, Laffleys start to get less effective. Since in order to have, against 4 tigers, you would, the equivalent cost in Laffleys is 16 Laffleys. And you're probably not going to have that many. And you can lose them to strafing and whatnot. So, the later in the game it gets, that becomes less useful, but early in the game, it's really, really, really strong. Lorraine is it's either F or D tier, D minus maybe. Since the Lorraine it costs 25, so it costs the same as SU-100, but it has level 2 armor. And it doesn't have a turret or anything, so... And it has a 50 tech cost too. So it's just garbage. There's no reason to build it. The Jackson costs the same. Well, the Jackson is cheaper. The Jackson only costs 20 supply, but it has a turret. So, yeah, Lorraine is just total garbage. The only time I ever have made them is in French 1v1. Because it's really awkward to get... RL44s are just bad. The French Advanced Heavy and Super Heavies are really... You don't really get Super Heavies that much in 1v1 unless the game stalls out. But if you're playing 1v1, you're going to be doing 25-minute timer probably, so the Super Heavies aren't a thing. Usually. Oh yeah, I also want to point out, I should have said this in the beginning of the video, this tier list is based around 1945 game mode. And it's kind of generalist between free-for-all, 1v1, and team games. But it's based around 1945, since 1942 and 1939 are just really not balanced, since they're not worth talking about them. So I'm gonna... this is either D minus F plus. I never use this. Never use these two. Maybe use this one once every 1,000 games. This one once every 1,000 games. See, I don't know if I can justify... Again, you don't really ever make these outside of a French 1v1. France versus France 1v1. Because the enemy France is gonna have soft 40s artillery. So you're gonna put out your Lorraines because they have level 2 armor. While Affleys are just gonna die to the massive artillery. Even then, it's probably still better to go all 44s. I'm gonna put an F tier since it's worthless. So yeah, no S tier because LML tank destroyers they're flawed because most of them don't have a turret. They can only hit enemy armor. So it's kind of hard to push into an enemy base because you can't kill their buildings or anything. So and you can't kill light units. So you always need to put artillery and or tanks and maybe infantry. So you have to spend a ton of money with support units on any tank destroyer focused armies. Yeah, and that's the end of this video. This is the tier list.